weight on it, it pulls it all together. It makes it like a bridge, makes it all solid. Now you get a lot of weight on it, and start breaking out around it. But normally it's like you see right here. It's all solid material. Can't beat it. Saved thousands of lives. Okay, now who went in the museum and who didn't? Some of you have. You remember seeing the little rail runner upstairs? I'm gonna hold this one up here in just a minute. See, back in the old days, companies did not provide transportation in the mines or out for those men. I'll hold it up here in a minute.
Okay.
And that scratchback coal, those old guys had to crawl in out of the mines. So one day, one of the guys come up the rail runner ride, like this one. He could take his dinner bucket, down on his knees, move along a lot faster than crawling. A whole lot easier on his knees, see? That's something else he should have patented. You can find this over at Walmart, same thing. Had a couple from Germany the other day, said, we got them over there. I said, Walmart? He said, yeah, scooters too. I guess they're all over the world.
Oh my skateboard.
Same thing. Old miner had him a fortune, didn't know it. Okay, with the loading those cuts out fast, picks wouldn't get the cuts quick enough. So in 1930, they come out with this Goodman cut machine, powered by DC electricity, just like a loading machine. This looks like a chainsaw, the logger we use. Has an 8-foot bar, chain goes around the bits in it, an electric drill too. This would do the undercut in the bottom of the coal, not the rock. So it's 8 foot, cut all the way across and back, complete double cut, faster than you dig 6 inches in that rock with a pick, see? Big time production booster, see? Bad thing about that is that chain made that cut, that old fine boat dust boils right out in that operator's face all day long. Eat that dust. My dad run one of these old early machines probably 10, 12 years. My 2 older brothers, one of them was 11 years older than me and the other 9, run these more modern machines probably 20-some years, maybe 25. One of them loved that job, called a whittling coal. He died at age 56, he got black on him. My oldest brother made it to 60, same thing. My dad died in 1967, I was 15 years old, he was 58, same thing. He started getting sick along about April. Early part of summer, couldn't go to work. A month and a half or so goes by, gets a letter from the coal company thanking him for all the years' service. Down at the bottom of that little note there, your discharge for absenteeism. I've still got the letter, and I wouldn't have done for it. But by September, I know September, he couldn't even lay down in the bed, couldn't breathe. Had set up in an old chair in the living room, had a coffee table, put a pillow on it. Prop his feet up on that. By, I know in October, maybe even late September, you were hearing him going, whew, oh God, he got. That pain in his chest, he says, like a wire brush of grinding. I mean, that's painful. I mean, pitiful, really. My brothers took him out to the clinic when they could do for him. About the first week of November, it come a huge snow. Man, it was waist deep. They canceled school. That's something that didn't happen back in. Them old drivers put chains on him, but it was too deep. Anyway, I got out there that morning, showed the path out to the toilet. You had to get up to the toilet. So then I went back up there, lay on a bench where we had the well. Get her drinking water. Showed up to that. In the building out there, we had a coal in. Had to shovel up bit where you get to the coal. Went back in the house, warmed up a little bit. It's kind of up in the morning, man. So I got the coal buckets, went out on the porch. And that's the fast house near this house. It's like looking down that road right here. I looked, I come 2 women and a man waiting in that snow at that house. I thought, where in the world are they going? Had no idea. They come up and open the door, I'm going in and warm up. They, I don't know, social workers, church organization or something, I had no idea. They had paperwork to fill out for my dad, go down here in Charleston, West Virginia. Dr. Walker at that time, one of the best lung specialists in the world, he was a good one. See, they had all that UMWA insurance down there, that's why they had all those real good doctors. Anyway, my dad wouldn't go after Thanksgiving. I missed school that Monday. Brothers come up, and loaded him up, had to have him down there at 8 o'clock that morning. About 2-something that afternoon, Dr. Walker come in, talked about, he examined him, did all the x-rays, everything. He said, your dad has pneumoconiosis or something like that. I had no idea how to pronounce it. I'm getting close. Black lungs, what he was referring to. He said, this dust will accumulate over the years, build up. It'll cake in there. He said, your lungs start getting brittle. He said, they start deteriorating, that ripping and pulling's where all the pain was coming from. He said, there wasn't nothing they could do for him. Put him on morphine. He died on December the 1st. Last time I saw him, he was singing When the Roll's Called Up Yonder, so I know he's not suffering. I mean, you don't want to see him go, but he didn't have no quality of life, pitiful. But don't you think I wasn't worried about that when I started mine? It's because I was. I was worried to death about it, but I didn't want to leave a state. I'm thankful for the first old man I ever worked with. He's about 43, 45, and to me he's old, you know. And he treated me as good as his own son. Faked, I guess you could call him. Tell you a little bit about him. I worked with him about 2 years when I first started. Every weekend you could mark her down. He'd hit these beer joints and lay drunk. Whole weekend. Come in to work on Monday morning, the heaving again and the puking for half a day or more, sicker than any man ought to be on this earth. Asked him one day, I said, why do you do that? He said, I can't drink through the week, I'd lose my job. He said, I make it up on the weekend. Called himself a weekend drunkard. I don't think he had the word alcoholic back then. About 6 months into it, he come in to work one Monday morning. We had a little waiting room out there. Mine foreman come in and give you orders, and then the crews would leave. He come in that Monday morning, he wasn't running in and out. He was in the gang. Sat there on that bench with the rest of us. One of the guys worked with him over and put their hand on his forehead, asked if he was okay. He said, I'm fine. He said, what's going on? He said, I quit drinking. Never drunk another drop. I ain't kidding. He died 3 years ago. He's 95 years old. Had a wonderful life, wonderful person. But what he did for me, he's the only man this man can do this. First day I ever worked with him. Get your respirator and wear it, filter the dust. He said, the men will laugh at you, they'll make fun of you. He said, get your respirator. And he was right. Early 70s, they started paying these black lung checks. Those guys would suck in all the dust they could breathe, money in the bank, and say, blacker the lung, the bigger the check. They're stupid wearing a respirator. That was their mentality. I don't know, before COVID hit, I was over this same mall, running into a guy I'd worked with 20 some years, maybe 25. He asked me if I was drawing this federal black lung, and I said, no. He said, I'm getting over $1,000 a month. I said, well, they sent me, well, I went over to Madison in Boone County first test. They said, you got black lung? I said, no, that's gonna give me some of that money, you know. Sent me down to Norton, Virginia, same thing. But it all went down into London, Kentucky. When the government ruled on it, they said, you're not disabled, and give me that. Well, I'm glad I'm not disabled. I don't want $1,000 a month. I like to have it, but I don't want to be disabled. Anyway, he told me I was stupid for wearing that respirator. He getting that $1,000 a month. He said, I told you better. That was the middle of the summer. About Christmas, I was back over again, somewhere long before Christmas. Had his younger brother with him, 2 or 3 years younger than me. Told me the same story, how he was getting $1,000 a month, how stupid I was wearing a respirator. He had an oxygen bottle dragging with him, the hose up his nose, telling me how stupid I was. I don't know where they got that mentality, but a lot of them's dead and gone, younger than I am. I'm just glad I worked with him. All I can say. I'd have worked somebody else, I wouldn't have done it either. Asked my brothers to wear them, they wouldn't do it. I wish I had it, it would make a difference, I believe. You can't make it. All right. Has everybody seen this guy at dinner buckets? When I started mine in 1970, every man I worked with had a bucket like this. They've been using them for several years. Way back there in the older days, they'd bring their lunches in paper bags, sacks, pokes, whatever you want to call them. Their lunches disappeared. These critters here was eating their lunches. Rats. Every production mines I ever worked in, every single one of them had rats running everywhere. This looked like a mouse compared to
Oh,
something.
no.
There's no rats here, there's nobody here to feed them, see? Don't say never. One of the guys doing a tour last year, he's an excellent tour guide, but man, he should have been on this tour. Back to this place here where we just came from, got off the motor. Went back to his and they started talking, the lady sitting there where he said, started screaming and hollering, there's a rat. Well, he's more scared up she was. He started screaming and hollering and carrying on. Tucked between the cars and tripped. He done scared everybody to death on the cars, having 4 old pieces. He bruised himself up pretty bad. Wonder he didn't break his arm or leg or something. Then people got outside, they was tore up. I said, did you see the rat? He said, no. He said that woman took a picture of it, sent it to his phone. Well, he showed it to me. I said, that ain't a rat, good gracious. It's a little possum wandered in here. All that carrying on over a little possum. That's what I'm doing this, I guess. Anyway, this bucket sugar lunch is still disappearing. Old rat take his tail, get under the bed, raise it up, and eat your lunch. What they say, rats are smart, but they're not that strong, see? The old miner started putting a piece of slave or rock on that way he couldn't steal his lunch. Co-workers stealing his lunch, no doubt about it. What's your dessert pan? The old miner bring a fried pie, piece of cake, whatever he wife fix him back in, see? My time it was an oatmeal cake or a moon pie. You ever eat a moon pie? Well, good, ain't it, when you get them? A lot of times I come to work with a shiny pan, my wife's mad at me. Get no moon pie, she'd leave me a note in there, though, tell me about it, man. Some of them were nasty grams, they were real nice. Boy, she'd let me out. I wish I'd have saved them, I'd have me a box full of treasures I could show the grandkids, see? Well, some of them I couldn't show, most of them. You know, when you're young, you don't think of that. I wish I had it. All right, then here you bring all the food you can bring. You bring extra food in case you get trapped. You bring extra food to feed the rats. That's why rats are in the mines. Rats can truthfully sense a disaster. Maybe they could hear movement in the top we couldn't hear, sense the methane build up, whatever. If a bunch of rats coming this way, we're going with them. How many of y'all have eaten pepperoni rolls? Coal miners invented them. The Italian coal miners up around Fairmont, West Virginia. I guess you can find them everywhere, man. Over above the New River Gorge Bridge at that Swiftwater General Store, they've got them there. They're fresh too. They've been laying around 2 or 3 days. They're over that way, Ames Heights Road. I'm not kin to them either. I couldn't even tell you the name of the person who works there, but I know they're good. My wife got one the other day. I'm gonna go get me one. Okay, in the bottom here, the most valuable thing that miner can bring is drinking water. Somebody drunk his water one day. What do you think he did the next day? What?
Pissed it in.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Fit them false teeth in there. Old miner's tough, ain't it? Big chew in that jaw, and that beer run down his chin and neck, hop her right in there, and nobody drink his water. All them miners didn't have false teeth. A lot of them go to the funeral home, have them save them some. That water's valuable. I hope he wished them, but I seriously doubt it. I thank y'all for coming. Hope we didn't keep you too long. Hope you enjoyed the tour. What we do, we go out this end here, look back, see how much cover's over you. We'll go around through the park and do our best to get back where we started from. Thank y'all very much.
Water that's in here now,
Do what now?
with the water that you see now, did they have water coming in?
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, you know, I know they were worried. I didn't know.
Actual water worked in, that miner went in working for a coal company. There's water in his place. He kept an old bucket there and bailed out. That was on his own time. He still had to get 6 cars, regardless.
Did you say 20 cents a car
20 cents a car.
for 2 tons?
With 1 ton. But the thing about that, to get that 20 cents, that car had to have that graveyard hump on it, made of the metric ton. They figured about 4 more £100 fine. They cheated him either way,
Oh, yeah.
and Myra didn't have a chance. I mean, you know, they didn't understand what they didn't.
You talk about the water in the mine, on our museum board, we have a fellow who, his grandfather was over here from Germany, or England, I'm sorry, about 3 weeks and went to work in the coal mine at Cherry, Illinois. And they lost 259 men in a fire.
In the fire.
In the fire. And there were about 20 men that survived down in the mines for 8 days. And of course, water was the big thing, and they would go try to find the water, tap the hole, dig a hole, see the water come up, and that's how they survived for 8 days. Anyway, his fellow was on board his grandfather.
They figured out how to survive. I had a chance to go to Wellsburg, Utah, about, well, close to 80 miles west of Huntington. The company offered me a job, gonna move me out there and everything. So my buddies went, they got in line for it, every one of them, the belt line got on fire. That coal's kind of a greasy texture to it, once it got on fire. Killed them.
I have a question, another question, I'm sorry. All these, like all back in here, y'all don't do any I mean, I see.
Y'all wanna ride back through there, you'll see more of the mines, or do you wanna go around the hill? I'm gonna leave this up to you guys.
That's whatever.
Around.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go down.
A lot of movies was filmed in here. If you ever watch the movie Mayflower about the mine wars, part of that was filmed here. National Geographic's done one, Haunted Coal Mine stuff, Haunted Place, West Virginia. I was in that one, and another guy. There's been a lot of filming in here. A lot of it's right back through this back area.
So is there a lot, like, it's just everywhere? And
By the track, you'll see an old motor similar to this one. This come out around 1940. It was probably 1930 or earlier. That's what replaced your mules. They had trolley poles on them with trolley water in the mines. You'll just see that and see these old works. So let's go that way. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate you. Yeah.